A widowed billionaire walked quietly into his baby's nursery, tired and drained, but what he saw in that small room froze him in place. His tiny son, the child he almost lost at birth, was in the arms of another woman, a woman he never expected to see holding him like that. The baby was nursing on her chest, calm, safe, and breathing softly, while the woman cried silently, as if she was holding her own child. For a moment, the whole world stopped, and a truth he did not understand stood in front of him, shaking everything he believed. What happened in that room would tear down lies, expose hidden pain, and change every life inside that mansion. Hours earlier, the mansion stood quiet, the kind of quiet that felt heavy, like it carried secrets in the walls. Eric Johnson moved through that silence every day, carrying grief on his shoulders like a weight he could not put down. Ever since he lost his wife during childbirth, his life had turned into long days of work and long nights of fear. He had money, cars, a name that people respected, but inside his huge mansion in Boston, he lived like a man walking through shadows. His newborn son, little Liam, was the only soft thing left in his life, the only reason he still tried to wake up each morning. The nanny he hired, a young woman named Kelly Adams, was supposed to take care of Liam, but Eric never really watched her closely. He was too lost in his pain, too afraid of looking at the child who reminded him of the wife he buried. Downstairs worked Monica Reed, the black maid who cleaned the halls, washed the dishes, and kept her tears hidden inside her chest. 6 weeks earlier, she lost her own newborn son, a boy she never even got to hold properly. The pain still lived in her eyes, but she carried it quietly, never disturbing anyone. She worked slowly, carefully, as if each step kept her tied to something she did not want to forget. That morning began like every other morning. Eric left early for a business meeting, his suit perfect, his eyes empty. Kelly stayed upstairs in the nursery, pretending to work, while her phone kept her attention more than the baby did. She placed a bottle of milk beside Liam and left the room, planning to return soon, but she did not come back for hours. The milk spoiled slowly, the room grew warm, and the tiny baby began to cry. His voice was small, weak, and tired. He cried for food, for help, for someone to pick him up, but no one came. His little hands shook as he screamed into the empty room, his face turning red, then pale, then warm again as fever crept into his tiny body. Downstairs. Monica stopped at the bottom of the stairs, a basket in her hand, because she heard something. At first, she thought it was the wind, but the sound grew louder, sharper, and it carried pain that cut her deeply. She froze, her breath shaking, because the cry sounded too familiar. It sounded like her own baby, the one she lost. Her heart squeezed, her knees became weak, and tears gathered in her eyes before she could stop them. She dropped the basket and rushed upstairs, one hand on the railing, her steps full of fear. When she entered the nursery, her heart almost broke. Liam lay there barely moving, his face wet with tears, his body hot, his lips dry, his bottle untouched and sour. Monica rushed to him, calling his name softly even though she knew he could not answer. She picked him up gently, her hands shaking as she felt his heat. "Who left you like this, baby?" she whispered, crying as she rocked him in her arms. Liam cried weakly, pressing his face against her chest like he was searching for something he remembered. Monica had nothing to give him except the broken heart inside her, but something inside her moved, something deep and painful, something that felt like a mother hearing her child call her again. She sat on the rocking chair, holding Liam close. His cries grew softer, but he was still shaking, still hungry, still burning with fever. Monica wiped her tears, her mind racing. She knew he needed food. He needed the comfort of warmth and closeness, or he would collapse. She looked around and saw no one. No nanny. No help. No one coming. Her hands trembled as she pressed Liam to her chest. For a moment she hesitated, fear filling her eyes, memories of her own baby flashing in her mind. Then, something inside her broke open, and motherly instinct pushed away all doubt. She lifted her blouse gently and brought the baby close to breastfeed him. The moment Liam felt her, he calmed. His tiny body relaxed, his breathing softened, and he held on to her like he had known her forever. Tears ran down her cheeks as she held him, singing a soft tune she used to sing to her son. The room felt warm again, the kind of warmth that did not come from the heater but from love, pure and painful. She cried silently while feeding him, holding him like a mother who finally found the child she lost. She forgot the time, the world, the pain of the last 6 weeks. All she felt was the soft weight of Liam in her arms and the quiet peace in his breathing. And that was when the door opened. Eric stood there, frozen. His briefcase fell to the floor. His breath caught in his throat. He did not move. He did not speak. He only stared at the sight in front of him. His son on the chest of his maid. His son calm for the first time in days. His maid crying like the child belonged to her. The room stayed silent, heavy, and filled with something Eric could not understand. And that moment, that single moment, was the beginning of everything that would break the mansion apart, expose lies, push hearts together, and change every life that lived under that roof. The silence in the nursery held both of them for a long moment, heavy like a weight Monica could not lift. Liam rested quietly against her chest, breathing softly, unaware of the storm gathering around him. Monica looked up slowly, her hands shaking, because she saw pain in Eric's eyes, she saw anger, she saw confusion, and she saw a man who did not understand what he was looking at. Eric stepped into the room quietly, his eyes fixed on Monica and the baby in her arms. His mind felt like a door someone had slammed shut. Inside that door lived memories of Sarah. Memories of a hospital room. Memories of a child he almost lost. Memories of fear and guilt. He did not know what to think. He did not know if he should shout or listen or fall to his knees. He only knew that he had walked into something he never expected. Monica looked down at Liam, then back at Eric, trying to keep her voice steady. "Sir, he was crying for a long time. He was hungry. He was weak. I had to help him," she whispered, her eyes full of tears. Eric swallowed hard, his chest tight, because part of him understood her, but another part of him could not move past what he saw. "Where is Kelly?" he asked, his voice low, almost breaking. Monica hesitated, her breath shaking. "I think she left the nursery, sir. She left him alone for hours. He was burning with fever," she said softly. Eric's jaw tightened, his hands curling into fists. The room felt too small, too warm, too full of things he did not want to feel. He looked at Liam again, noticing how peaceful he was, how relaxed, how safe. He had not seen his son this calm since the day he was born, but instead of comfort, guilt stabbed him. He walked out of the room without saying another word. His steps were slow, heavy, unsure. Monica held the baby closer, her tears falling quietly, because she knew she had crossed a line, even though she had done it to save the child's life. Downstairs, Eric sat on the edge of the couch, covering his face with both hands. His thoughts were loud, fighting inside him. He felt grateful that Liam was safe, but he also felt fear. Fear of losing control, fear of judgment, fear of what people would say. Kelly walked in moments later, chewing gum and scrolling through her phone. Eric looked up sharply, his eyes burning. "Where were you?" he asked quietly. Kelly blinked, confused. "In the laundry room, I think," she lied quickly, trying to look innocent. "You left Liam alone," Eric said, his voice rising just a little. Kelly opened her mouth, but no sound came out. Panic filled her eyes. Instead of telling the truth, she took the easy way out. "Monica forced me out," she rushed. "She said I was not needed. She is unstable, sir. I have seen her crying alone, talking to herself. I think she has a problem." Eric looked at her sharply, but he hesitated because grief had weakened his judgment. He did not know who to believe. Kelly saw his silence and pushed harder. "She held Liam without permission, sir. She is obsessed with him," she whispered. That single lie fell into Eric's heart like a stone. Later that afternoon, words traveled fast through the neighborhood. Mrs. Helen Foster, an elderly woman who lived next door, stopped Eric outside the gate. "I heard the maid did something strange," she said, shaking her head. "These people can be unpredictable." Eric forced a tired smile, but the words cut him quietly. Then Patricia Hill, a wealthy woman known for gossip, called him. "I heard your maid crossed a line," she said with a cold voice. "You have to be careful with people like her." The lies kept flowing, each one heavier than the last, each one pushing Eric farther from the truth. Upstairs, Monica sat in the staff room, her hands on her lap, waiting to be called. She could feel something was wrong. She kept replaying the moment Liam cried in her arms, the warmth of his tiny body, the fear she felt when she entered the nursery. She knew she did the right thing, but she also knew the world did not always see the truth. When Eric finally entered the room, Monica stood up slowly, her heart beating softly inside her chest, not fast, not loud, but heavy with worry. "Sir, I want to explain," she said gently. Eric raised his hand slightly, asking her to stop. His face looked tired, sad, and confused. "Monica," he said softly, "you crossed a line today." Her tears began to fall quietly. "I did it to save him, sir," she whispered. "He was weak, he was hungry, he could have fainted." Eric closed his eyes for a second, because he wanted to believe her. He wanted to trust her, but the voices of others kept filling his mind. "I know you meant well," he said slowly, "but this cannot happen again." Monica swallowed hard, fear rising inside her. Then the words came, words that tore her chest open. "You have to leave," he said quietly. Monica covered her mouth with her hand, trying to hold in her sob. Her knees almost gave out. She looked at Eric, begging him with her eyes. "Please, sir, let me say goodbye to the baby. Just one moment, please," she whispered through tears. Eric looked away, unable to face her pain. "No, Monica, it is better this way." Those words broke her completely. She packed her small bag and walked slowly toward the door of the mansion. The walls felt taller, colder, like they were watching her leave. The floor under her feet felt heavy, like it did not want her to go. She paused once, looking back at the stairs where Liam usually cried for her. But no sound came. Eric stood in the hallway, watching her leave. His face was blank, but inside his heart, something cracked, something deep and painful. When the door closed behind Monica, the mansion grew even quieter, the kind of quiet that hurts. Upstairs, Liam woke up minutes later. He looked around for the arms that held him, the voice that calmed him, the warmth he remembered. But Monica was gone. He cried softly at first, then louder, then harder. Kelly tried to feed him, but he refused. Eric tried to hold him, but he screamed. The house began to drown in the sound of a baby who had lost the person he trusted. And this was only the beginning of the storm that was coming. The night after Monica left felt longer than any night inside the Johnson mansion. Every room carried a heavy silence, the kind that pressed on the walls and made every sound feel sharp. Eric walked through the house slowly, holding Liam in his arms, trying everything to calm him, but nothing worked. The baby cried with a pain that no bottle could solve, a cry that came from somewhere deep, a cry that begged for the one person he wanted. Liam cried until his tiny body shook, until his breath came in small, sharp pulls, until his soft face turned red. Eric tried holding him close, tried patting his back, tried singing, tried rocking him in the chair Sarah once used, but Liam pushed away from him, reaching out with tiny hands toward a woman who was no longer in the house. Kelly stood by the door, annoyed, tapping her foot on the marble floor. "He is just spoiled," she said, rolling her eyes. "He will stop when he gets tired." Eric turned to her sharply, the dark circles under his eyes deeper than before. "Why did you leave him alone earlier?" he asked quietly. Kelly's body froze for a moment. Then she forced a smile. "I did not leave him, sir. I was close by." She lied again. Monica scared him. That is why he is crying now. But Eric noticed something he had ignored before. She was sweating even though the night was cool, and she kept her bag close to her side as if hiding something. Still, he was too tired to argue. Liam cried again, louder, and Eric walked away with the baby, leaving Kelly standing in the hallway with a nervous look on her face. Hours passed. The clock on the wall clicked slowly, each sound echoing through the empty rooms. Liam finally cried himself to sleep in Eric's arms, but even in sleep, his tiny fists were clenched, and his breathing was not steady. Eric placed him gently in the crib, watching him with a broken expression, because this was not just a hungry cry, this was something deeper, something painful. He left the nursery door open and sat on the floor outside, his back against the wall, his hands covering his face. He felt guilt pulling at him, guilt that would not let go. He had seen the truth in Monica's eyes, the love in the way she held his son, but he allowed fear, rumors, and lies to guide him. The weight of that choice crushed him the longer he sat there. Morning came slowly, dragging light into the house. Liam woke with another tired cry, softer this time, like he was losing strength. Eric picked him up, trying to soothe him, but the baby pushed at the bottle again and again. "He is rejecting everything," Eric whispered to himself, his voice shaking. He called the pediatrician, who told him to bring Liam immediately. By the time they reached Boston Children's Hospital, Liam was too weak to cry loudly, his small body resting limply in Eric's arms. Eric held him close, fear tightening his throat as he hurried through the glass doors. Doctors rushed them into an examination room. Eric paced the floor, rubbing his forehead, whispering prayers he never thought he would pray. After some time, a young doctor walked in, her face calm but serious. "Mr. Johnson," she said gently, "your baby is not sick from food or infection. He is suffering from emotional separation." Eric frowned, confused. "What do you mean?" The doctor sat down, speaking slowly. "Some babies form deep bonds with the person who comforts them, feeds them, holds them often. When that person is suddenly gone, the baby feels fear and emotional pain. It can affect their eating and sleeping. Your son attached himself strongly to someone who was caring for him recently." Eric felt the words hit him like a stone. His legs felt weak. His voice cracked as he whispered, "Monica." The doctor nodded. If she was the one who fed him, held him, and calmed him, then he connected to her. Babies know safety through touch and smell. Losing her suddenly has shocked his system. Eric looked down at Liam, whose tiny fingers were curled around his shirt, holding on weakly. "So he cannot recover without her," Eric whispered. "He can recover," the doctor said, "but he needs the comfort he lost. He needs the person he trusts." Eric closed his eyes, pain crawling through him. He fired the woman who saved his son. He pushed away the only arms that made Liam feel safe. And now his child was paying the price. When Eric walked out of the hospital room, he saw Kelly pacing near the vending machine. Her eyes darted toward him, nervous, shaky. "How is he?" she asked quietly. Eric looked at her, his voice cold. "The doctor said he bonded with Monica. He needs her." Kelly swallowed hard, her hands shaking. She tried to stay calm, but then Eric noticed something inside her bag. A small bottle of medicine for Liam. The label was the same one from Liam's prescription. "Why do you have that?" he asked quietly, stepping closer. Kelly backed away, her voice trembling. "I was going to give it to him later," she said, but her eyes moved too quickly. Eric grabbed the bottle, and saw another wrapped in a plastic bag inside her purse. "What is this?" he asked, anger rising in his voice. "Were you stealing his medication?" Kelly burst into tears, her lies falling apart. "I needed money," she cried. "I only took a few. I was going to sell them. Please, sir, please." "And Monica," Eric whispered. "You lied about her to protect yourself." Kelly dropped her face into her hands, crying harder. She did not answer, because the truth was already clear. Eric felt his stomach twist. He had trusted the wrong person. He had listened to the wrong voice. The person he needed to protect was lying to his face, while the person who saved his son was out there alone, hurt and blamed. He walked past Kelly without another word. She did not follow. She did not argue. She knew her lies were finished. Outside the hospital, rain began to fall slowly, soft drops hitting the pavement. Eric stood there with the rain touching his face, his mind filled with guilt and pain. He had to fix what he broke. He had to find Monica before it was too late. He began searching everywhere. He went to her old apartment, but the landlord said she left because she could not pay rent. He went to the streets near her bus stop, but no one had seen her. Hours passed, the rain grew heavier, and hope began to fade. Finally, as evening settled over the city, his phone rang. The voice on the other end was weak and old. "Are you the man looking for the maid?" the voice asked. "Yes, please. Where is she?" Eric said quickly. "She is under the bridge in Riverside Park," the man whispered. "She is sick. She has been there for days." Eric's breath caught. He thanked the man and rushed to the car. Rain hit the windshield hard. The city lights blurred. His heart felt heavy, but he did not stop. He drove faster, praying that he was not too late, praying that Monica was still alive, praying that his son would get another chance to be held by the woman who saved him. And as he turned into Riverside Park, he knew the night would change everything. Rain poured over Boston like the sky itself was crying. Eric drove through the dark streets with shaking hands, gripping the wheel tightly. Every heartbeat felt heavy, every breath felt painful, because he knew he had pushed away the one person his son needed the most. The wipers moved back and forth slowly, cleaning the windshield, but his eyes kept filling with guilt. He kept hearing Monica's soft voice in his head, the way she begged to say goodbye, the way he turned away from her tears. The road to Riverside Park was almost empty. Streetlights glowed weakly through the rain, and the city felt quiet, too quiet. Eric parked near the bridge and stepped outside. The cold rain hit his face instantly, soaking his clothes. He walked fast, almost running, looking under the bridge for any sign of her. His shoes splashed in puddles, his breath shaky as he whispered her name. "Monica, please be here," he whispered, his voice cracking. Under the bridge, shadows moved slowly in the dim light. An old man sat against the wall, covered with a blanket. He lifted his head when he saw Eric. "You came," the man said softly, his voice weak. "Where is she?" Eric asked quickly, his chest tight. The old man pointed to the far corner under the bridge. Eric turned and walked slowly toward the dark space. His steps grew heavy, his heart beating painfully inside him. When he got close enough, he saw a small pile of blankets, wet from the rain, barely moving. He knelt down slowly, his hands shaking. "Monica," he whispered. The blankets moved a little. A soft sound came from underneath, a sound almost too weak to hear. Eric pulled the blanket back gently, his eyes filling with tears. Monica lay there, her face pale, her clothes soaked, her hair stuck to her forehead. Her eyes were half open, tired and unfocused. She shivered from the cold, her breaths shallow and weak. It broke Eric completely. She tried to sit up, but her body was too weak. "Sir," she whispered, her voice dry and cracked, "why are you here?" Eric swallowed, tears running down his face. "I came to fix what I broke," he said quietly. "I came for you." Monica looked away, her body shaking slightly. "You told me to leave," she whispered. You did not want me near Liam. Eric lowered his head, unable to hold her gaze. I was wrong, he said softly. I listened to lies. I let fear control me. I hurt you, and I hurt my son. I am sorry, Monica. I am so sorry. Her tears mixed with the rain on her cheeks. She wrapped her arms around herself, fighting the cold, her breath shaky. Is the baby okay? She asked weakly, fear rising in her voice. Eric's voice trembled. He is at the hospital. He would not eat. He cried for you. The doctor said he bonded with you. He needs you. Monica closed her eyes slowly, a tear sliding down her cheek. He is so small, she whispered. He should not be in pain. Eric reached out carefully, as if afraid she might break. Please, come with me, he said softly. Liam needs you. I need you. Please let me make this right. Monica hesitated. Her body was cold, her clothes wet, her heart torn between fear and love. She blinked slowly, trying to decide if she had enough strength to stand. Eric gently helped her up, his arm supporting her. She leaned into him weakly, not because she trusted him fully, but because she had no strength left. The old man under the bridge nodded at them, his eyes sad but warm. Take care of her, he whispered. I will, Eric said firmly as he guided Monica to the car. Inside the hospital, the lights felt too bright. Nurses rushed toward them when they saw Monica's condition. They placed her on a bed, checked her temperature, wrapped her in warm blankets, and gave her water slowly. Eric stood beside her the entire time, watching her breathe, watching her slowly regain strength. After a while, a nurse approached him. Your son is awake and crying. Would you like to take her to him now? She asked softly. Eric looked at Monica. Can you stand? He asked gently. Monica nodded, still weak, but determined. Eric supported her as they walked toward Liam's room. When they entered, the cries grew louder, and the tiny baby turned his head toward the door, sensing something familiar. When Monica stepped closer, Liam reached out with a small, trembling hand, his cry changing from pain to hope. Monica sat down slowly and held him. The baby relaxed instantly, resting against her chest, his tiny hand holding onto her shirt tightly. His breathing softened, his face calmed, and for the first time in days, he felt safe. The nurses gasped softly. One whispered, "He knows her." Eric watched silently, tears filling his eyes. He had never seen his son so peaceful, so connected, so alive. Monica rocked him gently, humming a soft tune, the same tune she used to sing to her own baby. Liam opened his eyes, looked up at her, and let out a small sound, a sound of relief. Eric stepped closer. "You saved him," he whispered, his voice breaking. "You saved him twice." Monica looked at him, her eyes soft but tired. "I just did what a mother would do," she whispered. Those words pierced Eric's heart. He knew then that she was not just a maid, not just a woman who worked in his house. She was the person who carried the love his son needed, the person who filled the silent house with warmth, the person he should have protected. Hours later, Liam slept peacefully in Monica's arms. Eric sat beside them, watching them with a gentle expression he had not felt in a long time. He cleared his throat softly. "Monica," he said, "when Liam is better, I want you to come home. Not as a maid, not as someone in the background. I want you close, because you matter. You matter to my son, and you matter to me." Monica looked down at Liam, then back at Eric. She shook her head slowly. "I am still hurting," she whispered. "You pushed me away. You believed lies." "I know," Eric said quietly, "and I will spend every day proving that I will never make that mistake again." Silence filled the room, a soft silence, not the painful one from before. Monica held Liam close, her heart still healing. Days turned into weeks. Liam grew stronger. Monica returned to the mansion slowly, still cautious, still healing. Eric changed too. He became gentle, patient, humble. He listened more. He learned to sit with his son and hold him without fear. One evening, months later, Eric led Monica into the mansion garden. The sunset filled the sky with soft light, and Liam slept in her arms. Eric stood before her, his heart full, his voice steady. "I have watched you bring life back into this house," he said softly. "I want you in our lives forever. Monica, I love you." She looked at him quietly, tears filling her eyes, not from pain this time, but from healing. "I never thought I would feel hope again," she whispered. Eric reached into his pocket and brought out a simple ring. "Be a part of our family," he said, "not as a maid, but as the woman who saved us." Monica looked at Liam sleeping peacefully, then looked at Eric. Her voice trembled. "Yes," she whispered, "I will." The mansion that once felt cold became warm again. Liam grew with love. Monica healed slowly. Eric found joy again. And together, they formed a family built not by blood, but by love, forgiveness, and second chances. Dear viewers, this story reminds us that love can grow inside pain, healing can come from unexpected places, and one act of kindness can change a whole family. Monica walked into that mansion as a maid, but she carried a heart that saved a baby, healed a broken man, and rebuilt a home that had been empty for too long. This story teaches us that real love is not about money. It is about care, truth, and the courage to stand for what is right. Dear viewers, tell us where you are watching from, and tell us what you learned from this story. Your comments help our family grow, and we want to hear your voice. Please like, subscribe, and share this video so more people can learn from these emotional stories. And if you want more stories from us, type "more stories" in the comments section, and you will be the first to receive the next emotional story. Before you go, answer these 3 questions in the comments. 1. Do you think Eric judged Monica too fast? 2. If you were Monica, would you have forgiven Eric? 3. What part of the story touched your heart the most? Thank you for watching. See you in the next story.